Good have Shabbos, everyone. Parshat Emor, and the Shabbos before Pesach Sheni, getting ready for Lag Bomer. This week's Parshat talks about the Yom Tovim, the holidays, and we also learn about the laws of the Kohanim and the Tumantara, the purity and impurities, and the laws about a Kohen refraining from participating in funerals or going to the cemetery to make themselves impure. The Torah starts off with Emor al Kohanim b'nei Aaron, v'marta leim. The Rebbe brings down the famous Ma'amer Chazal that says Emor v'marta. Why does it say two times? Tell them. So Rashi quotes that lahazir hagdolim alaktanim, to warn the elders that they have to look after and make sure that the younger ones know the laws of purity and impurity, make sure they don't become impure. And the Rebbe teaches us in the Sikha that we learned today in 1964 that the idea is that a person has to know that lahazir, to warn the elders for the youngers, is both an internal message and also how you engage in other people. Internally within yourself, a person has to recognize that there's the gadol shabai, there's the larger part of you, there's the parts of you that are gadol, large, like your seichel, your intellect, your mind, and then you have the smaller parts of you, the emotions, and even smaller, your actions. And the hazir hagdolim alaktanim, a person a lot of times understands what you have to do, understands what it means to be connected to Torah mitzvahs, understands what it means to be connected to Yiddishkeit. But lahazir, you have to warn to make sure that the gedolim, what your mind understands, has to apply to how you feel and your emotions, and also how you act. Like it says, Gadol Talmud, the greatness of study is shemevli demaisa, is that when it comes into action, that elevates the study. When a person studies and learns, when a person uses their intellect in order as a method to understand how one's supposed to engage and supposed to behave in their avodas Hashem, in the service of God, and ben adam lechaveroi, that itself elevates the gadol and makes the gadol into something greater than he would have been or she would have been on their own. The same thing when it comes to engaging other people from in education, whether it's engaging people that are katanim in age or whether katanim in their education of Torah mitzvahs. A person may think that I could worry about myself, but why should I go and engage someone that says, as I'm lowering myself, I'm preoccupying myself in small things. You have to know lahazir hagdolim al katanim, that the elders have to know that they're responsible in the education for those who know less. And the word is lahazir. The word lahazir is from the word zohar, to shine. You want to know where you're going to really truly find your shine in life is when you take and you go out and you educate others. And this is like we spoke last year about the pasuk that says about the impurities of a kohen, that it says that you have your young sister who's a virgin, who has not been married, has not gone to the other side, has not gone to the other ish, the other person, which is Esav Ish Asada. So we learn from Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Zohar brings down that this is referring to Hashem. That, like we said the pasuk many times, God comes down soiled in his clothing. That, like the pasuk says, Lo Yitama, you have to make yourself impure, you have to engage. God goes and he pulls us out of Golus. That's a lesson to us. That Lo Yitama, that a person has to go out and engage another person because this is your sister, this is your fellow Yid, and even though she's a katana, even if she's young, but she's a virgin and she has not gone to another person. She's a Yid, and no matter what happens, no matter what anyone does in their life, there's still a Yid. And this is also how the Parsha continues in its end when it says the laws of the story of the person who's the Makalo, the person who curses Hashem. And why does he curse? Because he says, the Rashi brings down, he wanted to go to this camp, they said, you don't belong. He wanted to go to his mother's camp, Dan. They said, sorry, you're not part of our family, your father's a Mitzri. And Moshe says, they're right, and he felt lost. So first of all, a person has to know, the Hairah is that you never feel lost. No matter what the situation is, even if it's a Choyse Aktan, if it's a Choyse Psula, if it's your younger sister, that she's a virgin, Hashem is Lo Yitama, he makes himself even impure in order to take a Yid out of Golus. So too, a person has to never feel lost. But at the same time, the lesson has to be for others. Never make a person feel to the extent that the Chas V'Shalom stand in the Bez and the Moshe Rabbeinu and feel that the only way out is for them to Chas V'Shalom curse Hashem. And that's also the idea of the Sfiras Omer, like the Rebbe brings down in the Memorim. The idea of Sfira, the word sapir, is to be clear and shining. That a person shines every midah, every time we do something small. Like the Rebbe says in the Maimer, that God takes us out of Golus not because it's in His interest. God takes us out in Golus because He wants to take us out of Golus, and by that He also takes out the sparks. That's also good. So too, a person has to know when you go engage in someone else, it's not about the results. God looks at what you're engaging in, what are you preoccupying yourself in, what matters to you, where do you find your shine is how you apply and what matters to you, and what is the efforts that you place in this world, avoida. When we talk about Zoicha, like it says Pesach Sheni, that the halacha the Rebbe brings down that if we don't sacrifice the first Pesach, and Mashiach comes with Pesach Sheni, even though that the conditions initially for Pesach Sheni was about a person who was impure or is far. There's opinions that say that if Mashiach were to come before Pesach Sheni, because we didn't do Pesach Rishon, we would do Pesach Sheni. So may it be speedily in our time, she's Zoichet, to stand here in the Beis HaMikdash, all the Kedoshim, and fulfill the Pesach Sheni here in the Beis HaMikdash with the carbon. B'mheir b'meinu. Good Shabbos.